Survivor, Seth Yates here, day 124, and I have a story for you. This weekend, I went to Nashville, Tennessee, and I met a shitload of Survivor players, producers, a ton of cool-ass fans. I mean, I saw some crazy shit. But what I accomplished in Nashville has never been done and probably will never, ever be repeated. I competed in a challenge against a lady named Chrissy Hoffbeck. You can see her on my computer behind me. She was in season 35 with Ben. Remember, she was running the show. Would have won, in my opinion, if she could have got Ben out of there. I guess Devin may have given her a problem. But here's the thing. They have a challenge down there this weekend, and there was a guy named John Kirchhofer. I think Kirchhofer. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. But he was there. Now, you may, even if you're a Survivor fan, you may not even know who John is. For anyone who doesn't, it can be easily explained. He is the creator of every Survivor challenge and game in the history of the show. He's been there for 24 years. He was a producer before Jeff was a producer. Obviously, Jeff was the host, became a producer, but that's how far John goes back. He's been there since day one. And he was there this weekend, and he presented a brand new challenge for all the fans and the ex-survivors that came to this weekend. No one had ever seen this. I am assuming it's going to be debuted on season 47. It's called the Broken Mirror Challenge. And it is a mirror, it's a picture frame on a stand, and you stand about 8 feet away from it on a box, and you have to throw 2 beanbags. Well, you have to land 2 beanbags, throw them through it, land it on a table that's about 4 feet high, 2 feet in diameter. It's not a very good angle. And again, this has never been done before. No one has ever competed in this challenge, except for when they invented it. And I asked John when I talked to him if he was the first one, and he said yes. He was the first one to test it out. I thought that was pretty cool. But here we are. I'm at the Survivor event, and I do this challenge. There's some kid running it. No big deal. I compete against 2. I think it was a guy and a girl. I'm not sure. Just some people, some fans in line. Nothing was made out of it. No big deal. I won, but I threw 6 beanbags. It took me, you get 4. So I had to go get 2, come back, and then I landed the second one on the fifth or sixth toss. And you know, I mean, it was no big deal. I won, but it's no big deal. That's not the point. The point is, I talked to Jonathan, and as you know from last night's video, Jonathan slapped me on the back of the shoulder, and just to prove to you that I'm not fibbing about my injury, I did have surgery on my collarbone. I've got a big plate, screws, the whole 9 yards. Well, after I get done talking to Jonathan, I turn around, and this brand new challenge, there's only 2 people in line. There's a girl in the front, and Chrissy Hoffbeck is in line. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go compete against a survivor, a really good survivor. Again, I think Chrissy would have won had Ben not saved his ass time and time and time again. But here's the thing. I walk up to Chrissy, and I had met her already earlier, so she knew who I was, at least maybe if she remembered. I don't know, probably not. But I walk up, and I high-fived her. I said, Chrissy, I'm going to kick your ass in this challenge. And she said, no, Buster, I'm going to kick your ass in this challenge. It was so cool to have a former survivor play along and you know, go back and forth a little bit. So all of a sudden now this kid's gone, and there's a guy standing there, a real tall guy. I thought I knew him, but I couldn't place him. Turns out his name's Leo. He used to work for Survivor. He ended after season 40. He quit after season 40, got married, had a baby, I heard him say. But he had worked Chrissy's season. So he comes up to Chrissy, and he's like, do you remember me? And she was like, yes, you worked my season, and blah, blah, blah. They celebrated, they hugged. So here I am, standing here with a broken shoulder, wanting to compete against Chrissy. And her and the producer, whatever, I'm not sure what his role was. I think he was a producer. They're celebrating, you know, they're rekindling with, you know, their old, not romance, but, you know, they used to know each other. They're getting reacquainted. And here's John. Okay, the king of Survivor challenges. He's right over here to my right. Never before done, never before seen. The man that created it right there. I'm going against a survivor that's really good, against someone who's hyping everybody up. He used to work there. On two sides of the perimeter fence, there are Survivor fans dressed in buffs and all kinds of crazy shit. And they're watching now because I'm competing against her. So Leo turns around, he raises his arm in the air, and he said, "Survivor's ready." And I mean, no words have ever sounded so cool, because this, for anyone that dreams of being on Survivor like I do, to hear those words, "Survivor's ready." And then he drops his arm and he said, "Go." I noticed right as I started to throw, Chrissy's first bag knocked the frame down. And if you hit the frame, it falls apart and you have to put it back together before you can start throwing. I throw my first bag, boom, stick, right on the table. She started running. It was just like, everything was just looked like it was in slow motion. Second bag, boom, through the frame, boom, landed it on the table. Leo, the guy who said, "Survivor's ready, go," he hadn't even walked back like 4 steps to where he was at. John is here. Leo starts screaming. The whole crowd, all these people around the perimeter start screaming. People standing around. And I have it on tape. I have it on video. My wife, abruptly, my wife, I love her, but she is not good at video. She always just like, as soon as it's over, stops it. I tried to restart it, but you can kind of get, you can see what happened here. So if you don't believe me, I'm going to show this to you. But if you don't believe, I can tell you all day long that I deserve to be on the show because I was born to be on the show. This video was definitive proof that in that situation, that high pressure situation, I did not falter. I did not waver. I set a record, 6.3 seconds. It's in the video. We timed it. 6.3 seconds, 2 tosses. Survivor, if that doesn't get your attention, if that doesn't make you stop and say, "Holy shit, maybe he's right. Maybe he was born to play this game. Maybe some people were just meant to do certain things, and he is meant to be on this show." And what a performance. What a performance I put on in that situation. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to explain everything that was going on. And my effort was perfect. My result was perfect in that time, in that moment, in front of those people, against a survivor. I mean, the stakes couldn't have been higher unless I was in Fiji. Fiji is Mount Everest. I've climbed every mountain in the world now. The only one I have left to conquer is Mount Everest, Mount Survivor. That's all I ask, that you give me that shot to throw those beanbags in that sand and climb Mount Everest. Survivor, I'll be waiting for your phone call.